All right. How is everybody today? If you're expecting Boyan, well, he's going to be on this channel next tomorrow. We kind of swapped sessions. I was supposed to be on tomorrow, and he's was supposed to be here today, but I need to kind of switch around, and so we will have our US session today from me, Andrew Han, and you'll see Boyan tomorrow. Okay, same time, same channel. So with that, let's just go through some of the disclaimers first, as usual, here at FX Street, uh, and in this session here with Trade with UFOs. And as you can see here, we have a lot of different apps, courses, and coaching available to you. So feel free to go to our website here, tradewithufos.com, and take a look at that. If you don't know about our YouTube channel, we're also on YouTube and Facebook as well. And so you can just type in search Trade with UFOs as well there in both of those social media sites to get more of us. All right, so the other things that we have going on, if you had not been aware, is we've got order UFOs for MetaTrade, and I'll show you a little bit about that as well. I'll be using that today and to do some of our analysis. And also, if you are interested in Bitcoin, that seems to be pretty popular these days to get into the crypto space, although Bitcoin has dropped quite dramatically in recent days and weeks. Um, but you can also subscribe to the Bitcoin commentary that we do in conjunction with ICE. Okay, and there's a link there as well to that. Um, in terms of some of the things that we have going on, we have, of course, our website, our daily news flash that when you sign up for our free membership with Trade with Your Affairs, you can get every day. And Boyan or Becky goes through that actually on YouTube every day prior to the US Open. And of course, we have our courses, as I mentioned before, stocks, futures, backtesting, and trading plans, as well as Forex. And soon we are going to have cryptos, options, mindset, and also uh, some other interesting tools that we're developing, especially in the option space. So can't tell you much about that yet, but some very exciting stuff if you are into options. Okay, so let us jump across to the markets now, right? And actually, before I go into the MT5 platform, let's just take a look at the dollar just to get a big picture view of what's going on. Okay, just get over there. And it's taking a little while. The internet's a little slow here. It's a little slow. What's going on? Just need to do a little, there we go, bit of a refresh. Right, so let me just move that up here. Okay, where we had a little bit of a reaction. So normally what I do is just take a look at the dollar, and we're looking at it from a daily time frame, and it's kind of good to sometimes take a little bit of a view from a higher time frame just to get a sense of what's going on. Now, if you're an intraday trader, then it's something that is also a good thing to do is kind of look at the forest for the trees. And so we see the dollar since really September, right, has made its strong move down to the beginning of this year, and then we had a strong move up into the end of March, and then we made our way all the way back down again into the end of May, and now we're almost gone all the way back up to where we were at the highs of of March last quarter. So it's kind of taken a whole quarter to try to get back up to the previous highs. Up around 93.50, as you can see up here. So if we do look at a retracement just to get a sense of how far prices retraced, if we just take the inverse there, the other way, we actually have retraced quite a good, decent amount, kind of past the 61% retracement level. And I'm sure that would probably get us, some of these numbers, what a 70, 76.8, 78.6, something around there. I think that's the other Fibo number, right? Kind of gives us, you know, almost it's kind of like a 75, percent retracement, kind of understand the quarters, three quarter sort of moves that you have in currencies. So we're just shy of the 92.50, and the auto climate is just showing us, a strong trend, to the upside that we saw, and I think everybody is aware of this nice big spike to the upside after the FOMC, statement, kind of indicating some increases in interest rates, but it was like in a couple of years. But the market kind of reacted to that pretty strongly. And so we kind of came into this you know, area just below 92.50, and we've just come off a little bit. So when we do look at the euro, of course, it's going to be the inverse of that, and so we had been looking at potentially prices trying to get back up to the 124 type of area, below 124. Didn't manage to get there, even though it kind of broke this pivot high here, right? So now we really need to get above this 22.6 67 sort of area, right, in order to get back up to these prior highs here. So that's no longer an area of interest, and kind of struggling to get back down to this 118 level. But what we may see happen, right, is if we don't get a pullback all the way to this 121 area, right? If we don't get a pullback to there, it could be just a little move to the upside here, and then we may decide to get back to this 116 area, right? So there's a couple of different scenarios we can plan for when it comes to euro. So it could bump up there and then head back down, right? And so and this is on the daily as well, right? We're kind of looking at things from the daily perspective. And so if you are an intraday trader, you've got plenty of if you're looking for this sort of move up, then you got to plan to long side. If you're looking to short, right, then you could also kind of see what price action is going on in these sorts of areas. And again, we can use our Fibonacci to get a little bit of a sense of where some of those retracements may go to, right? So this is like a 38% retracement here. If we go all the way back to that 121 level, then we're going to be up at this 61.8% retracement. So the two both key Fibonacci numbers that a lot of people are going to be looking at. And so from a very strategic perspective, right, we could probably mark those out on our charts here. Just use a little line, okay, and kind of plan that, right, and then we can throw on our auto UFOs, right, and that also gives an idea, right, of where we can expect some sell orders to kind of come into play, right? So this is kind of nice little way to plan your trades, and I'm going to move this one up the top here because I want to really just focus on what currently the order UFOs is kind of flagging for us here. And I'm going to move that one. Yeah, I've got to keep that one there. I've got to put another line up the top here. Okay. All right. So what this is doing then is really just helping us to frame our big picture perspective of the market, and so either you wait for price to come back up to this 121 area, or again, if we're looking to do some intraday trading, then now you're going down to the smaller time frames and planning out your trades there, right? So if you did kind of get on this retracement down at this area here on its way up, uh, then you're kind of zigzagging to the upside here, and probably following now this trend line, to the upside. Maybe taking trades on pullbacks here. We have a little bit of support. Become resistance, or sorry, resistance becomes support now, and that will lend itself to getting up to this area here, right, where we saw the 38% retracement. So we can mark that out, and if you're a 4-hour trader and you take your trades on this time frame, again, if we just throw on the order UFOs, that kind of gives us a sense of, all right, really where are those potential sell orders going to be coming in, and again, it kind of aligns to what we had on the daily here. We see some buy orders down here on the kind of forming now on this potential breakout to the upside, right? As it kind of clears these highs here. And so again, if you're an intraday trader, you're probably taking things to the long side now, right? And and if you want to refine that a little further, then you can always go down another time frame just to get a sense of, again, where potentially some of those opportunities may lie. All right. And so again here, so the order UFOs is now identifying this area if you're a 1-hour trader, where you are going to expect some sort of resistance coming into play here, and so what that tells you then, right, is as an intraday trader, if you are long at any point along this area here, that could be a good place to take profits. Okay, to the upside since you're long, right? And or you may just want to take off some of your profits as you wait for price to break through this area. If it does, right, if it's able to get through that resistance area on its way up to your 121 level, right? So this is how you can use order UFOs to kind of plan your trades there, and help you set your expectations, and also monitoring auto climate down the bottom here to give you a sense of just that shorter time frame trend, right? Where is the buying pressure? So you can see how it kind of the buying pressure has intensified as price moved to the upside, kind of waned a little bit as it is gaining momentum again to the upside, and so there's probably going to be a little bit more buying that's needed in order to get to this 120 sort of area and break through that in order to eventually get to that 121 area, if that's where the market is looking to move euro. Okay, so that's euro for us at the moment. focusing, I think, on the shorter term time frames to go long. And if you're on the higher time frames on the daily perspective, then you're really waiting for price to make its way up to this 121 area for a lower high, and so if we're going to get kind of this downward pressure trend, not a very steep trend, but a trend to the downside nonetheless, and could even look at drawing things down this way, right? So kind of those two pivot points pointing to the downside. And so if we do get a move up to just a little bit above, 121, we'll probably hit that trend line up there, and that will also be a signal, I think, to folks who are looking to go short on the euro, another indication, or another piece of evidence, right, to take things to the short side on euro. So a nice strong move to the downside, a bit of a retracement, which is also going to be a lower high, right? And so if we see a lower high there, then again, that's really what those who were bearish would want to see. We don't want to see prices exceed past this 120 to 65. Let's call it 120 to 65. Because if it does that, then we've probably got more of a sideways trend. If it breaks through to 124, then then we're kind of getting into maybe a continuation of a move to the upside, right? So again, looking at where are those highs and lows, right, on the bigger time frame. For perspective, we did have this lower high here, higher high here. If we're going to continue to the upside, then we really need to break that 125.50 area to really have this in this sort of big picture, macro uptrend, right? Which uh, which is more sideways, if anything, really, isn't it? I mean, if we just it's not a very steep uptrend. It's kind of it's almost like a parallel sort of price action there. Just trying to get that down there. Come on, almost there. Okay, there we go. And let me just do a clone and move that up, right? So we kind of have this, wouldn't say gentle move, but it's it's not a steep, parallel, up channel, right? So that's kind of where we can strategically look at euro. It's not clearly wanting to move to the upside at this point, and so we just focus in here on what the current price action is here, and really just plan accordingly, right? Okay, so that's kind of euro, what we have there on the euro. Let's take a look at maybe a commodity currency, the Aussie, right? And so again, from the last time, actually, let me just clear some of these old lines here, because we're moving in a bit of a channel here last time, right? And so we kind of look at this previous support line here. It's become resistance now, right? We had a bit of a spike up the top here, and so now again we've got to really look at where did price try to find some support before, and that was really around this 74.60 area, right? And again, if we throw on the auto UFOs just to kind of give us a sense of where is where is the overlapping So the areas of interest to some of these classic support and resistance techniques, right? Then we can see here we've got some resistance up the top here. We've got some support down the bottom here. You know, kind of rebounded off that support there, and that kind of helps us frame, right, the overall perspective of where the Aussie has been trading. You know, of course, the bigger picture is, you know, it's kind of broken sideways from this strong uptrend that we'd seen towards the end of last year. And it's just moved sideways now, and just rebounding on off of this area of support. And so, can we get back up to this area here from a very macro perspective? You know, that's what we could see, right? We could see this sort of occurring here, or it could be we could potentially see prices move, you know, again back up to this area here, right? And if we get back up to here, again using the Fibonacci's to give us a sense of what sort of retracement we could see. Now, if we take it to the prior high, okay, so if we take it to the prior high here, then what we get is something of more of a 50% retracement, right? Now, if we take it that, okay, you know, we had a little bit of sideways movements here, and really we've got this prior high here as the pivot, then in that case, we're looking at something close to a 61.8%. So whether it be 61.8% or 50%, this seems like an area of interest, right? So if price didn't want to do this sideways sort of move, then we could potentially see something like this, right, where price does a little bit of a move to just under you know, 77, and if it's going to put a lower high in there, let's say we have a move like this. Okay, let me get rid of this Fibonacci. Okay. All right, so this could be a potential path, right? So even if we get a little bit of a spike, right, above the trend line, ideally we want to see it kind of touch that trend line and make its way down, right? The lower high, lower low, lower high, and then maybe move back to the downside, right? So strategically, right? Strategically, this is how we can look at things from the Aussie, right? So again, if you're an intraday trader going down to 4 hour, or maybe a bit of a swing trader, you know, we can look at getting into this upward move. Okay, kind of broke these prior highs here, and we're getting into probably this area, and then maybe trying to make our way back up to just under 77, or you know, if we call it that 76.80, then this could be a potential pathway, right? Now again, let's just check with auto UFOs where some of those overlapping areas, you know, and we just wanted to, you don't necessarily have to refine it down to that 4 hour, but because this is really the daily that we drew there, right? We see some new support coming in down the bottom here, you know, new support coming in here, right? So as we see new support and no retest of the new support down the bottom here, that's a strong sign, right? That there is this interest of moving prices back up towards 77. And again, if we just break it down a little bit more, just to see where those smaller pockets of resistance are going to be on the way up, then we can see that this move here kind of gives us an area of interest that we want to just take note of, right? So if we do have, if you are long up into this area, you got to probably expect some sort of resistance, right? Especially around the 76 area, that's a whole number. Or if you get up to the 76.25, then again, currencies like to move in quarters, right? So we may see some resistance, in this whole area, right? So if you are already long the Aussie, then just kind of watch your profits, right? Protect your profits. So you could take, so let's say you're long from down this area down here, you can trail up your stops to let's say 70, 75.40, right? 75.40. We did see uh, some, yeah, so this was like a 4 hour support area, right? So you can put that, can kind of trail your stop down to there. So if price does come back down there, well, at least you've captured, protected some of your profits, right? And and then you just gotta watch this area, right? You gotta watch this 76 area to see if it is able to break up through to this 77 area, right? And just kind of watch it zigzag its way up. Um, and so probably is gonna take you through to the end of the week. Um, it's Wednesday, so it's kind of midweek. We may see a little bit of a pause as we get into Thursday, Friday, right? And then especially as we get to the end of the month, there's probably going to be a little bit of in the quarter, in fact. So got to be a little bit of the window dressing that you commonly see on the equity side in particular, right? And so we may see on the equity side, you know, being the risky assets, right, and also the Aussie being kind of tied a little bit to a bit of the carry trade. So people who wanting to put a little bit of risk by getting some higher yields in the Aussie versus say the yen, right? It's a common carry trade. We may see a little bit of strength going into next week, and then of course we've got the quarter end close and non-farm payrolls, for June coming out in July. Now, of course, we have the 4th of July coming up. So let me just check when was that? When was that? What day was that? The 4th is on a Sunday. Okay, so we have non-farms coming out on Friday the 2nd, and then we have a holiday over the weekend, and I don't know if Monday is going to be a holiday for you folks in the States. But if it is, then we won't have any sort of activity coming in until Tuesday, right? And so if we're going to see the markets, kind of move, it's probably going to be, maybe a muted reaction, right, on Friday, the 2nd of July, and maybe a little bit more action in the following week after the 4th. So hopefully hopefully the only fireworks that you're going to see is in the sky and not in the markets. But if we just do want to take a quick look at the risky markets, the S&P and kind of back to the highs, right? So let me just pull it back again, right, to the daily. Turn off the auto UFOs for the moment. So this was that little spike here, and and here is the high, right? So are we going to exceed that? Hard to say, don't know. Let's just kind of match up these lows here. All right, got a bit of a channel here. Just duplicate that, clone that. All right, so we could go higher, right? I mean, if you kind of if you want to honor that, depending on how you want to draw that channel, if it's a little wider, it'd be going up there. If you want to kind of keep that a little in line with how price had been hugging that curve, um, and just getting a little bit beyond that prior high they put in May, right? It's been taking a while to get back up to that prior high and exceed that prior high. Um, but are we seeing a double top there before a nice move lower? We will see, right? We will see. But yeah, with that rise in the risky assets, um, commodities, yeah, although the commodity currencies have not really followed with that, euro as well. Yeah, everything against the US dollars has really had dropped, right? So unless we see some sort of recovery of these against the US dollar, US dollar is still looking, potentially pretty strong, right? Um, so we could, right, just going back to the US dollar, this could be you know, a lower high here and then a move beyond, right? That's also a possibility, right? So so we can get a deeper sort of retracement. Let me just go here, right? Yep, here. Okay. Yeah, so we could get down to a 61.8% retracement and still have a continuation to the upside, right? So even if you're looking at this from this perspective, right? This is kind of a shallow downtrend, right? Kind of downtrend move, even if you take it back all the way to mid-September, right? Even if you see this as a downtrend, yes, you're right. It is overall a downtrend. But if we do see this sort of price action where it exceeds, right? If it gets past this 92.50 area, if you kind of get that pause, kind of break up, then it's going to change that trend to an upside, right? So that number is key, right? So that 92.50 is key. And then on the inverse on the euro, what that means is that what is going to be key now is this low, right? So this low is going to be key because if we're going to get any sort of continuation down, right, we're going to pull back, we're going to have a lower high, and we're going to have to break past that 1850 area. So you do that same thing, right? You can do the same thing looking at pound, right? If pound is going to get any lower, kind of did this double bottom here, it's going to break everything here. We need to see that happen, right? Because then what you're going to see is this zigzag, right? You're going to zig like a lightning rod, right? That's what you got to see, right? The break of these lows in order to get definition of a downtrend, right? Uh, a lower high, and then that'd be a lower low, right? And then it's got to put in an even lower low, right? So then that will change that to at least this leg, right? It will be a downtrend. Now, if you see prices come and stop here, right? Then you have a wider sort of potential sideways move. I mean, and that could go on for forever, or it could change. It could just go for a couple of more swings and then move up or move down. Who knows? But price will reveal how it wants to move, right? Okay, so yeah, so that's kind of my view of the pound there. I mean, it has been strong, right? It has been strong, but like a lot of the other currencies now, there it seems to be going into a bit of a sideways move because of that, that strength in the dollar, you know. So I think you just got to watch the dollar um, to see how is this going to play out, you know. We got to see a lower high. Um, and then a break, or are we going to see price continue higher, right? So I think it's a matter of you know you got to think right about your expectations of how you trade. So if you're a bigger picture trader, right, bigger time frame trader, then you're really waiting for a move up to 141, right? So euro, you're waiting for a move up to 121. For Aussie, you're waiting for a move up to say 70, just below 77, right? If you are a daily trader, otherwise on an intraday basis, you're getting down to the 1 sort of hour time frame. You're trading this move to a potential lower high, right? At least, right? You're looking at where are those resistance areas, right, that can come into play. Uh, you know, and that's for Aussie, Euro, or Pound, right? On an intraday, you got to go down to those lower time frames, and you just trade and you manage your risk on the way up, right? Um, and so New Zealand's going to be similar to what we saw in the Aussie. Dollar CAD, a little bit different here. We've seen, just because it's inverse, right? So you can kind of see the dollar strength, but also the Canadian is getting a little stronger now, maybe with some sort of correlation to the strength in oil, right? And so we had this reaction here. Swissy has been pretty weak, and so has yen, right? Yen has kind of behaved in its own way. But this with the Swiss, it's kind of kind of look at the dollar CAD and dollar Swiss. Um, the Swiss has been pretty weak, right? Um, the yen has been a little it's had its day against the dollar, right? And now we're kind of reaching up to these prior highs here, kind of tagging just a little bit above that, but it's closed. We'll need to see how it closes. Is it going to close above that prior high or below that prior high? But what is of focus, of course, is the fact that prices are moving upwards, right? So it means yen is weak, um, and those so what's that telling you is that the Japanese, right, are moving their money into dollar out of yen, right? And so that kind of makes sense because dollar, has higher interest rates than back in Japan. Um, and so that's why, kind of makes sense to put your money in, move your money into those markets where you're going to get a higher interest rate. And so the yen has just been strong against pretty much everything, right? So yen weak, yen weak, yen weak, yen weak, right? So yen weak and yen weak, right? So yeah, so if we just kind of give yen a bit of a focus, you can kind of see how, and it's kind of nice. That's why it's kind of nice to also look at things from the big picture as well, because then you can see how these markets behave against the other countries, right? So against Aussie, it's been it's almost in this sort of uh, you know parallel price action here. It's just been ranging here, right? Whereas with a CAD, it's been a little bit more more of an upward channel, so it's been a lot weaker, right, against Canadian. With the Swissy, it's kind of been a little bit, I think that's more of the Swiss uh, having a lot of strength, right? And now, um, yeah, Swiss having a lot of strength, and the yen then having some weakness there, right? So it kind of behaves very differently. So Swiss and against the Swiss against the euro, you can see that it's kind of similar. Um, Pound has kind of held up a little better, right? Not as sideways as we saw with the Aussie, right? And it kind of makes sense because pound overall has been strong against even dollar, right? So it's been more of a upward channel. And then again with New Zealand, it's kind of sideways here. It's kind of now had a little bit of kind of putting some sideways action, but I think it's more pronounced now on the Aussie versus it's kind of a wider, it's actually more of a wider sideways, wider swings than what we've seen on the Aussie, which has been a little narrower, right? So if you kind of group these two together, right, you can kind of flick it around and that gives you a sense, right, of the sort of relationship that these currencies have with each other, right? So more of an upward channel there. This had quite a steep channel, which has kind of been broken. See a little bit of similar behavior here, right? Kind of broke that channel. So we're being, we're kind of spending a little bit more time from a strategic level today, rather than getting into too much of the lower time frames. Kind of spending a little bit more time on the majors, right? Um, Let me just get these. So it's a bit of a wedge, right? So this is a little bit more of an angled wedge, right? So if you're into patterns, right? If you're into patterns, then this could be interesting for you, right? But if you're kind of new to patterns, then yeah, it could be something to kind of look into to kind of help you set your expectations, right? For what you're seeing and making your trading decisions, right? And so yeah, it's a good exercise as well to sometimes look at the bigger picture, uh, strategize a little bit, right? So you can kind of see prior highs that have been resistance, now support. It's all these sorts of techniques, right, that help you understand what's going on in the markets, right, and kind of see, well, where are those points of interest, right, where the markets you know, have shown some interest in price, at what points, and just understand market psychology really, right? So prior highs, prior lows, um, you know, prior areas of support and resistance, right? Now, of course, you don't want to get too confused you know, about everything. You can draw, so many different lines, it gets confusing, right? Um, but uh, but once you're able to, you know, formulate your view of things, it it just becomes second nature, right? Uh, and so you can make your trading decisions with a lot more confidence, right? So it's getting prior highs, prior lows, um, right? And that kind of helps you to along with technology, right? Identifying these areas of buying interest, right? It kind of helps you to make your trading decisions more more precise and also more relaxed as well. Okay. All right. Well, hey, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Again, if you are interested in finding more about what we do, just head to our website at tradewithufos.com and sign up for a free membership and also head to YouTube and watch our daily news flash by Becky and Boyan, and have a good rest of the day. All right, take care, everybody.